Uncomfortable Dialogue is a project with a German partner called MINCE EV and myself, which is a UK partner. The aim of the project is to kind of explore the Black marginalised experience, but through dance and storytelling. It's to look at the experience from the German side of things, but then also look at it from the British side of things and just seeing where they intersect, where they differ. And yeah, it's kind of just to explore that topic because it's not really something that we get to speak about. We know that it is a topic, but it's not something that it is a focus, and it is an important topic to discuss. Got two incredible artists, one called Sarhaly from the German side, and then the amazing Shaq from the UK side. And yeah, they're going to be working together for the next 6 days.
So I'm Chaquille, Shaq, from London, South London. I'm 29. I would say I'm a seriously unserious guy. A lot of my peers and my friends, they'll just say I'm the guy that's always just making people laugh or just being stupid. My mum is the dancer of my immediate family, and my dad is the sports. So growing up, I was doing a bit of both, and I think I just enjoyed the freedom and expression of dance. My first styles was actually hip hop and popping. So I used to do those first. I jumped into crump around 2017. Since then, I haven't stopped really. And I think that's because it resonates with me on a personal level. It's one of the styles that really allows you to express your true feelings without any form of judgment. And I think the whole idea of the community and having an experience a session where everyone just comes together and just exchanges energies and vibes and uplifts everyone is something that I enjoy a lot.
I am Sarhaly. I'm 28 years old. I'm from France. I was born not too far from Paris, but in a tiny little countryside. So I was feeling really by myself as a Black person. Currently, I'm living everywhere and nowhere. I'm navigating space, but the spaces that I'm navigating the most currently is Berlin, Germany. I've started walking 3 years ago. This was my first dance class actually, and I always wanted to dance since I'm a child. My sisters were doing they were in this hip hop and breaking era in Paris, and I would see a lot of battle, lots of this community since I'm a child, but I've grown up in a countryside, so there was nothing that I could do because there was nobody danced there. So I was struggling, feeling legitimate with me starting dancing and starting a style so late at 24, 25. But the walking community actually really bring that confidence, and it really bring this space where you can just be and you can just explore who you are, how you want to be, and how you need to express your feelings with the movement. So this is why I think I've fell in love with walking the dance, this community.
The thing that interested me about this project is the fact that I've never done it before. Being a Black Caribbean man, we don't really get the opportunities to be on a project where we can speak about being a Black Caribbean man. So having that opportunity to be in a space where you're free to speak on certain subjects really enticed me to want to submit.
I feel like I have things to say. I feel like I have a voice that has to be heard and to be understood and to be acknowledged and to be thought through. And the idea of uncomfortability is really interesting for me because this is a topic that I've been digging now for a few years, this idea of being uncomfortable in your own feelings, with people, and how to navigate this uncomfortability and then create something out of it. Putting myself in this uncomfortability like being in a new city, London. I don't know London at all. Being with another man, a black man, and I have my projection on black men too. So to be able to find the balance between all of that, yeah, for me it's an experience that I will definitely help me. So I arrived yesterday. Today was a slow day. We discussed, like we learned how to know each other and like to discover like music taste and how we see things about our respective dance. So that was really insightful, I would say, and also very slow. This is what I needed because I'm in a slow mood. I'm a bit tired also adjusting with the city. Yeah, today was a great day.
We're just speaking today, really, just sharing experiences from a crumb aspect and a whacking aspect. We're just kind of like prodding each other with like questions and just understanding each other a lot more, and our environments and surroundings, to be fair.
How it can be like challenging and difficult, and what I was telling you yesterday also about how I cannot see the vision, like how my brain cannot pick and try to structure something. It's quite challenging for me too.
If I'm unable to gauge the energy, the movement is going to feel forced. It's going to feel like you're trying.
We are really trying to acknowledge the challenge, not to try to hide it, not to be like, no, it's fine, everything is good. Yesterday, I was feeling that Shaq was a bit more like into his own emotions, and I felt it, and I was like, okay. And today I talked about it. I asked him, yesterday I felt that you were a bit maybe off, like not present as you could be, so we just talk it through, and it's better. And now, I understand more his character. He understands more my character, like raising questions and just say to your face, okay, this and this. So yeah, it's challenging, but I like challenges.
Get ready.
Yeah, it's actually an oversized hoodie.
I don't know.
I'll let you go first.
I wanted to let you go first. I feel like even today is the start, where we really start to connect and really understand and how to engage, It's today and it's the end. That's always the case.
Yeah, today definitely felt like a different energy in a good way, for sure. This one has felt refreshing because there was no sense of like pressure to create something to share. If the energy is there to create, we will create something and we'll share it. If the energy is not there, then what else can we do to still provide that energy and still share? So I think tapping into like the music and having discussions every day and beginning to understand each other, like the backgrounds, the heritage, our cultures, our styles, sharing like videos and stuff of like other people, like other influences, but without us moving, was very refreshing for me, because sometimes we feel pressured to like always having to move. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, something beautiful will still like be made.
It felt confusing at first because like we were speaking about the sharing or restitution, and I was thinking performance, but something with movement that will like involve maybe movement somehow. But at the same time, it felt natural to not force the movement. Of course, that would be too short or too not organic. So I was really like in that balance somehow where my brain, like the little student part of my brain was like, okay, how are we going to manage to do something, maybe like a performance or something, when earlier, before I came in here in London. And at the same time, letting go of this and, just processing and going through the everyday session and see what was coming out of it. I'm somebody who needs also to see the structure built in my head and I couldn't see that, and that was a part of what was confusing for me. But I just let go and just let the day went go as natural, and I'm starting. I think I'm gonna understand more later. When you said it's about understanding energy, it really triggered and it stayed into my mind, that the process that you were describing, that was about understanding energy. And of course we need time to understand energy, and then maybe later do something with it. But still I'm into it, I'm still understanding, I'm still navigating the energy. And today is really special, I think, compared to the other days. And yeah, it was refreshing. It was really refreshing, and also a bit challenging for me. Yeah. There is so many things that are similar, in the countries and in the Black experience that we go through as Black people here in London, and me in France and in Berlin, in Germany. And there are so many things that also I would have liked to discuss even more, in terms of politics. And we talked about those things just a little, but there is so much deeper layers that are here, and that would be great to be discussed. But London for me is a really new culture at the same time. There is a big Black diaspora, but that is really different from where I grew up in France. So there is more Nigerian people, or Ghanaian people, or coming from the English colonization. And I relate to it, but at the same time, there is something that I still don't get, and and I feel I have to understand, or not to adapt to, but just to engage with and connect with, so I can be okay, this and this can be similar than where I grew up. There is some common collective experience, Black experience that is experienced here and in other countries in Europe, like France and Germany, and at the same time in so many differences. So it really brings out the layers and the multidimensional experience that we all have as Black persons, Black community. And I think this is from that, the differences and the similarities, that we should build, more connection and more bridges to be able to understand and not, judging ourselves within the Black community, pointing each others, and not trying to dismantle what really is a sickness in our communities. And I was talking about colorism, I was talking about relationship within the families, the displacement between Africa or Caribbeans, and how it can create conflicts within the families, or cultural differences. There is the Caribbeans, and then there is Africa. There is so many things that I know we are we know. I know we know each other about that, but still need to be discussed and experienced more than discussed. So I'm really glad to be here in London, to be able to see that and to experience it, even if it's short, but to understand just a little bit more about what makes us a community, and what also is causing harm into our communities from the within.
Tomorrow we're inviting people into the studio for a sharing, which will be a panel discussion kind of sharing. It's gonna be an experience for everyone, because I personally think a lot of people may have come with a preconception that we're going to move. So the fact that we're not going to move is gonna be a different experience, because usually when someone says sharing, everyone expects you to do some form of movement or whatever, or do something. Whereas our sharing is more of a discussion with everyone that's going to be there. So we're bringing everyone into our experience whilst sharing everyone else's experience. So I think that's what I'm most excited about, to have a sharing where I don't have to move my body, and we can speak and discuss on everything.
Yeah. Within the community, the marginalized community, the black community, I think it helps us thinking our privilege compared to other, black people or other, I'm privileged, like as a dark-skinned black woman, as opposed to a dark-skinned trans woman. So it helps me thinking also the layers of privilege that I can have, even though I don't feel like being a dark-skinned woman is being privileged, but this is why I think it's really interesting to see how privilege and oppressions changes.
It's so hard to change the system, but at the same time it's hard also to empower people to believe that they can change, as you said. So not everyone know that they can impact others, but they will just be there and no, it is what it is. But you can change other life.
So she asked me about like my upbringing and like my environment, like how has that like affected me as like a creative or like a person, and then from there it kind of segued into, okay, like, so with all that being said, how do you process your emotions now? So I was explaining, like, at first it was just like, I'll just move erratic in any form of situation, like, and I was just explaining to her, like those that know me know that when I was younger, it was just like, yeah, chat shit, get banged in it, really. Now it's just more like, now it's just more crump and like the use of that.
This idea of power is also very built through the Western lens. And there is power into being dark-skinned, there is power into being large, into being neurotypical, into being not heterosexual. There is a lot of power in these aspects too.
Automatically, you go into the sense of like lead by example, so then you become like the protector at some point, so then you have to like suppress all your feelings because you have to deal with like what your sisters are going through, and then knowing that that's happening when it goes into the creative space, you're then also like the big bro to like other that young females that are going through the same thing, but you can relate to it because you have other sisters, you get what I'm saying? So I was going through that for a very long time.
For this, I was sitting on the organizer side of the table, but I think this was really important to not put pressure on like a performance happening, because I feel like as artists, we don't always stimulate our minds beyond movement all the time. Like, or if we do, it's we have a topic or we have a stimulus or we have a motif or we have something that we know that we're going to base our choreography of, and then we create the choreography. But I don't feel like we get enough moments where like we tap into our intelligence and how we feel about topics, and without the pressure of having to create something off of that. I don't think there's and I think a lot of us probably haven't even scratched the surface of what we can do creatively, because we've never, like, everything is always we create for performance, we create for a theatre show, we create for this, we create for that, but there's just hardly any moments where I do not need to produce anything. All I have to do is just think about what the topic means to me. How do I feel about it? What is the knowledge behind it? What's the statistics? And I think if we had enough time, if you look at people who are really at the top of their game in terms of creativity, they give themselves time to, hence why like with theatre shows, they do R&D for 2 weeks. That's why those people can really push the boundaries of their movement, because they're actually given time to think about the topic and the stimulus beyond surface level. It's like if I was to give a topic of like, I don't know, childhood, okay guys, we have 2 weeks to make a piece. I feel like it, not that it won't be valuable, but I feel like it will be surface level because there is a time limit. You have to perform spirit fingers, whereas if we just sat there and just spoke about our childhood without feeling like we had a limit, like I just feel like there'll be just more tangible things that came out of it. I get what you mean by like it was confusing, because I feel like when I did The Artist, I'm so used to being in choreography mode that like every day when I'd walk in and Tadi would say, oh, You know, you don't have to. You ain't got. If you just want to sit here and read a book, you can. And it just made me feel uncomfortable because I felt like I was being paid to do nothing. And I felt like and that's that black people thing, dude. That's what, like, you know, when especially at work, especially when you work for a corporate company as well, like you feel like you have to be doing this. It was the same for me, so I get the confusion. We need these moments, so like I'm really glad that like this sharing like is different to I guess what you would classify as a sharing, where it's like audience perform, because I think it's still valuable. Even if there wasn't like this is the product, you know. And thank you Sarhaly and Shaq for committing to the residency. Thank you guys so much. Please all have a good weekend. Enjoyment. Thank you. Period. Hey.